Hello sports fans, so in this video for our NFL teams preview we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons in 2023, they weren't great. They did win 7 games, but they were also in a weak division, so how good were they really? Just like the Cardinals, I can't really say they failed on expectations because they weren't really expected to be that good overall, and their offense all in all was pretty weak and their defense was fine. So now heading into 2024, the big difference and what everyone's talking about for the Falcons comes from their new QB Kirk Cousins and their new head coach, which I think QB and head coach are the two most important people in the football field. So this will make a difference. And I always thought that the Falcons in general were being held back from these glaring problems. They had Michael Penix, so I don't think that was that good of a draft pick if I'm being honest, but just in case Cousins isn't as good, maybe for the future he'll be good, but I don't know. I think Drake London and Bijan Robinson, they have a lot of talent, especially Bijan. We saw that from last year, even despite the offense not being run that well. And I don't really love Mooney as a number 2 receiver, so, that might be a problem for the Falcons. But I think that with a good offensive line, I do expect this team to be good but not great offensively. I think they'll maybe be borderline top 10. Also forgot to mention Kyle Pitts, who knows how he'll do. He has the talent, but I just don't know at this point. Now, defensively, I think this team is pretty interesting overall. They were fine last year, but losing Calais Campbell will hurt their defensive line that was pretty strong overall last year. And we all know that Jesse Bates is amazing and AJ Terrell as well. They could really play, but they don't really have a whole lot of depth outside of that. And they might wish that they drafted Latu later in the season because I think they'll just be fine defensively. I know a lot of people saying that they won't be that good, but I think they're just okay enough, with the top end talent with Bates and Terrell. And the defensive line is a concern, but I think they'll do well enough to where they're just fine. They're not going to be elite, and they could be bottom of the barrel, but I don't really think so. Now, what will really help the Falcons in this season is their division. It's the worst in the NFL, and I do predict that they'll end up winning it, mainly with that help of Kirk Cousins, and they'll get 10 wins, but I don't see them as contenders. I would be surprised if they even won a playoff game, just mainly based on the fact that I think their offense is good, but like I said, even if their defense is going to be fine, I just don't think it's going to be enough to win one. And if you're wondering for fantasy, obviously Bijan is high up there. I think you could even pick him as high as 5 overall if you really love him, but don't let him get past pick number 8. And London, I think he is potentially getting a little bit too much hype overall because, I don't know, the Falcons offense, even though it's going to be good, I just question how many targets and everything he's really going to get. But if he's in the 3rd round, I would definitely take him, but definitely not as my WR1. Pitts, I don't want to get burned personally like I did in 2022, even with the new offense, so I'm probably not going to pick him. But Kirk Cousins, maybe you could pick him up. I probably won't, and I'm just not sure if he'll score a lot of points. Bijan might get a lot of rushing touchdowns, but you never know. Maybe he's a waiver wire pickup later in the season. And that is all. We'll see how the Falcons do. Thank you.